pleasure to be here with you tonight. And it's really a great pleasure to introduce actually my good friend and colleague, Glenn Lurie. Glenn Lurie at AT&T leads the team and the organization, a large group of people who are focused on just breaking a new mold, really creating a new mold, creating, launching, and growing new lines of business, new business models, new go-to-market strategies, and new partnerships. So trying to transform the way that the carrier operates. Examples of the success that Glenn has led in this area, I just think of a few recent examples. For example, the AT&T Digital Life organization recently launching, starting here in Atlanta. Another exciting area of leadership is AT&T announcing at Mobile World Congress not long ago that they will be providing the 4G LTE service on the OnStar service for year 2015 models and future models for General Motors. So congratulations, I know that is a big win. And then of course, smartphones and tablets. Iconic items such as the Apple iPad and an iPhone. Glenn personally led those negotiations to bring that to AT&T. And his organization and leadership team today are bringing and introducing new devices of that type, as well as M2M, machine-to-machine consumer solutions. So I'm sure that from the particular vantage point that Glenn has and stands in the wireless ecosystem, and from what he sees, he is going to share some comments with us this evening and help you all see kind of ahead of your headlights as to where the wireless industry is going. So with that, Glenn, please, everybody, let me welcome you.
Great to be here. This is a great group. Bob does a terrific job. It's just a wonderful, I've probably spoken here, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. Tonight, what I want to do is just have you think a little bit. Hamish gave away a few things that I do, but I want to throw some things up and talk about some things, hopefully get your minds going. Got some phenomenal folks here that will be able to sit down and answer questions. What I want you to think about is, kind of what's next. I always joke around, so everybody talks about the iPhone deal. So let me ask a couple of questions. I always do interactive, right? So how many people remember when we launched the first iPhone? Raise your hands, okay? What year was it? How long ago? Right, it was basically July of 07. So in July of 07, what was before you saw that first iPhone, before you got your hands on, by the way, a 2G $500 device, what was the best smartphone in the marketplace? Okay, how are they doing today? I'm not making any comments about the new 10, I got one, I'm playing with this, but think about it, what else was out there? When you walked into an AT&T or a Singular at that time store or a Verizon store, how many smartphones were there? That was 5 years ago. Okay, the best phone in the market 5 years ago, the most sold device was what? Motorola Razr. How many of you had a Razr? How many of you still do? Your hands better go down. That's embarrassing. What did the Razr do? The Razr made calls. The Razr had a WAP browser. Some of you are too young to know what that means, but that we thought it was really cool a long time ago. And think about this, what the Razr did really well, and if anybody's from Motorola in here, I apologize, is it broke a lot. But you paid $500 for the Razr. That was 5 years ago. So when I have some of the analysts in the room come up to me and want to interview and say, what's going to happen in 5 years? I have no idea. Think about this, 5 years ago. Now, walk into one of our stores, walk into a Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile store. What do you see? Smartphones. It's everywhere, right? I think last quarter we announced that of our acquisitions, 80+% were smartphones. When reality was, if you go back 5 years ago, by the way, I just landed from a meeting at Apple, and we were actually, remember, Eddie Q and Tim Cook and Breslin were talking about this. Think about it. When Apple launched the first device, many of you in this room said nobody will buy a touch device. How many of you have a touch device in the room? Okay. So what I'm trying to do is throw some things out about where we see the world going. And a couple of them, Hamish kind of started to talk about, things that I'm working on. I'm all game on any sort of debate you'd like to have. So let me dive in. Emerging device space was a space that we really dug into about 5 years ago. I was fortunate enough to start this group. I'm proud of this group. A gentleman named Chris Penrose runs this organization now for me inside of AT&T. We have more non-smartphone devices on the AT&T network than anybody in the world. We have 18 million plus. This is just the beginning of this. I mean, even when I got up and talked about this a few years ago at this forum, I told you guys, here's where we're going, everything's going to be great, it's going to happen. I'm proud of the team, it's going too slow. right? We're starting to figure out monetization models. You know, the thing I am proud of, every device you see on this page is an AT&T device. We have a long way to go. And the reason I start here is because I want to talk about a couple of slivers of this first part. And I'm going to start with the car. How many of you have a car? Don't even raise your hand. Okay. How many have a screen in your car? Well, probably most of you do. And I imagine if I said to you, what does it do? You'd go, well, not a lot. You know, I see my radio on there, my Bluetooth. Okay. That's not the future of the connected car. Hamish talked about our announcement with GM, which I'm very proud of. Stealing that from Verizon, I felt terrible about that. But it is a very important point of that Hamish said. GM is committed to put LTE in every vehicle. Think about that. 5 years ago, when we spoke to an automobile manufacturer, they wanted to know what the cheapest 2G module to get their hands on. In fact, I think Hamish and I were working together. Right? That's all they want. Bomb cost, bomb cost, bomb cost. They didn't see the future. GM has said, no, we're going to take the car to a new level. And to do that, you have to have the biggest pipe we can get our hands in. Plus, we have to future-proof the car. Cars on the road 10 to 12 years. So what I want to do is delve a little bit into the car business. I'm going to show you a really cool video some of you may have seen, probably only a few of you have. That's our belief of what the future of the car is. Let me throw out a couple of stats. 73% of consumers surveyed want embedded connectivity in their cars. Why is that? What's the number one thing on people's mind in the car right now? Driver distractions, safety. Okay, we're pushing very, very hard on Don't Text and Drive. Everybody knows that It Can Wait campaign that Randall Stevenson, our chairman's pushing. If you're texting in the car, by the way, the adults now are the worst. You, right? I stopped. Not because the boss said I should, because I have 2 kids. And my 17-year-old daughter says, I'll stop if you stop. Done. Now, think about that for a second. I'm always on the go. I get 70 zillion emails just like you all do. You can't do it. So what do we need to do to fix that? It's about technology. It's about making the car safer with technology, not more complicated with technology. So I throw that out as one of the key things I want you to think about. It's about the customer experience. 73% of you all are saying, I want it embedded because I want it more simplistic. Pulling your phone out of your pocket and doing navigation on your phone, which California just outlawed last week, right, is not safe. Okay, it might work well. It does, right? It works great on here, right? But the bottom line is it should be in your car. Why doesn't it sync with your car better? Why isn't it easy? How many of you, I'm going to give you another stat, of every one of the folks in the United States who has Bluetooth in their car, less than 20% ever use it, even though you pay for it. Because you know what? It's really hard to do. Okay? Couple other stats. The market's poised for growth for a couple of reasons. I would say the stars are all aligned. First of all, you can see all the math. I mean, there's people, strategy analytics is in the room. Everybody's doing math on this. I think I want you to look really at the left side of the chart. When you think about customers' expectations are changing. By the way, the OEMs are figuring out this is how they're going to compete. Right? Think about that for a second. So you got guys out there, Ford's pushing theirs with the sync, everybody's pushing their different things. What I want you to think about is without technology, the OEMs are not going to be able to compete. Third point is that we have this big fat pipe called LTE. 10 to 12 megabits per second nationwide. I'll argue with you, what can't you do with 10 megabits per second? And all of a sudden now your car becomes, I'd argue, a smartphone on wheels. And now I take you back to where I started 5 years ago, where were the smartphones? 5 years from now, where will automobiles be? Okay? Another point, you can see here some of the growth projections, 53% of cars. I think that's low, based on the, I can't tell you all the deals we're doing. I can tell you I got more coming. But right now, all the OEMs are kind of holding hands going, we have to do this. It's going to make our car better. It delivers such a better experience. So you can see the details here. I'm not going to drain the slide. But you can understand, just give you some round numbers, 53% is about 16 million new cars sold in the U.S. On an annual basis. By the way, there's 260 million cars on the road today. Less than 5% are connected today. So aftermarket opportunities are massive as well. For those of you thinking out there, you're entrepreneurs. Aftermarket opportunities are significant. So here's a couple of the folks we're doing business with. I will tell you, one of the things that has been unbelievably refreshing is doing business with our Mr. CEO at Tesla. Alon is an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley going as fast or faster than we are. Right? Actually, when I was this week, I got a nice ride in the Tesla S. If anybody hasn't seen that car, right? In fact, one of the Apple guys has one of the very first ones, shocking. And it was incredible because he looked over and he goes, well, that's your connectivity, but I'm not paying for it. And that's because Tesla decided the first year's on them. And if you've been in that car, it's got a 17-inch screen. It's pretty incredible. But what's amazing is Elon is pushing so hard, so fast, that what he's doing is he's driving everybody else to think differently. So these are some of our partners. Obviously, we talked about GM. And now what I want to do, before you hit the button, is we sat down a few months ago and said, look, if we are going to be the leaders in this industry, and one of the things when you get in the automotive industry, we thought we'd be a player in the industry. What we learned very quickly is it's so fragmented and it's a very confusing industry that when we got in the ecosystem, we ended up becoming the center of it. And a lot of the OEMs that were coming to us saying, all I want is connectivity, are saying, now I need you to help me with everything. And that's been unbelievable. Been a lot of fun, by the way. At that point, though, we said, what is the future of the car? What if we can put on a video where we think the car is going? Let's do that. Let's sit down and think about it. I will tell you this. I want you to count, right? I want you to, as you see all the different technologies, count the number of technologies you see in the video, number one. I'll tell you if you're high or low. Number two, every single technology you see in this video is available today, and the majority, if not all of them, either came out of our labs or are part of our ecosystem right now. So all you need to do with biometrics is touch the door. The door knows your body, knows your skeleton, and actually open the door without anything else. We're doing that today in our labs. The Find My Things, which was right at the beginning where actually you told it what should be with you when you get in the car to go to work. So it actually checks and makes sure you have your smartphone, your laptop, etc. So those are just simple things that we have today in our labs. Some of the other things, like ISIS, you guys know that. Obviously, digital life, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, the connected home and the connected car will be one experience. It has to be one experience for your life. But the concepts you saw there, for anybody in technology or anybody in wireless, are all doable right now. A big part of that, natural voice. Many of you probably think that, the one thing you notice about our actor is his hands and eyes never left the road. That is exactly what it's got to be. He was able to do work, send emails, get traffic, do all those things right on the screen. And basically, in our view, it's a heads-up display. You never have to look at your dashboard, right? So all that being integrated in the vehicle, all of a sudden now it's a whole different place. And for a company like AT&T, we view that as a tremendous opportunity. If you're a developer, tremendous opportunity. You're talking about SDKs around the vehicle and the vehicle itself. Does that make sense? Make you think a little bit? That was my goal. Is it good? All right. Let's talk a little about digital life. The key around digital life is this. Today in the U.S., just some quick numbers, and I'll go through a few. Today, about 20% of Americans have any sort of security in their home today. How many of you have security in your homes today? Okay. And most of you probably have that. By the way, the largest security player in the U.S. has 5.5 million subscribers. And to us, we have 107 million wireless subscribers. That's a small business, right? That's a small, good, solid business. And we have all the respect in the world for AT&T. In fact, I was a customer for 20 years until about a month ago. But what I'd say about this is the key here is, can we deliver in the home a truly connected experience? Can we deliver a simple experience? The feedback we got when we decided to go into this space was very simple, very complicated, very expensive, elitist, right? And by the way, old technology. We have gone through UL certification with the only and the first ever all digital security and automation. And the key to that, folks, is this. You can go out today and you can spend a lot of money and buy security from an AT&T, and then you have to buy automation on top. The automation isn't theirs. They're actually wholesaling that from somebody else. You can't combine them. So if I want, when the bad guy or gal is robbing my house, to have the alarm go off and all my stereos go on full blare so they scare the crap out of them when they run back out, I can do that. If I want to do a come home program for my wife, when she comes home at night and the house now knows she's home because the car location-based services tells you, the lights go on, doors unlock, thermostat goes up, alarm goes off. So we are building something that will allow you very simply to create programs around your life to make your life more simplistic. If I can show you all, I'll pull my app out and I can go look inside my house on cameras, look outside my house. I can see every detail of every single one of the over 100 devices in my home today. Every sensor. We are doing things that nobody else is going to do, and we're doing them because it's all IP and because it's all owned by us. We're able to do it at a much lower price. So we can make it available to others. And so we're launching kind of in a consumer space, You'll see us go upscale. You'll see us go downscale. You'll see us go, and one of the things is my number one goal that I'm pushing Kevin Peterson on is I want security and automation available to anybody who wants it. Whether you're in an apartment, condo, a dorm room, and make it self-installable. We're going to get there. This is the first bit is a little different. You can see here, first UL, certified. You can see what we're trying to do as far as changing the web interface. We've spent basically years and a lot of money making sure that when you pull that app down and you put it on that iPad or you put it on your Android device, that it's simple. Okay, one of the things we've learned from working with Apple for the last 8 years, they're probably the best in the world at taking complex things and making them easy to use. And we have challenged ourselves over and over and over. And to me, the app will drive people's satisfaction. How easy it is to set things up, how easy it is to use. Can a child use it? Can grandma use it? Can we make it so it's so simple that allows you to do the things you want to do to make your life more simplistic? You'll see all the other things that we're going to do. Real important, look at the industry just real quick. Because I get asked all the time, why would you guys go into security and automation? Well, first of all, it is absolutely adjacent to what we do because you're going to live your experience on your wireless device. By the way, this is a wireless network in your home. We're putting in a digital life controller that has a wireless device as one of the pipes out, one of the broadband pipes, and then we let you decide what the other broadband pipe is. Whether it's we'd love for it to be AT&T in our 22 states, you decide. So you'll always have redundancy. So this is every single device in your home is wireless. There's no wires. Okay, we're not coming in and drilling holes and running wires and messing up mom's house, right? We're coming in and we're putting in sensors that are all wireless. Okay, 5 protocols in the box. I can go into details with you if you want to hear about it. The bottom line is this was an industry that needed somebody to come in and start to drive competition and drive innovation. You can see the automation side, some of our competitors. You can see what I said earlier as far as who's a player in this. Real important, real quick industry. $18 billion industry, growing at a very, very slow pace. You can see the margins and you can see the ARPU. For those of us wireless folks who think ARPU, so think about that's today's current without automation. By the way, less than 1% of homes have any automation, cameras, door locks, water shutoff valves, etc. in the home. About $35 ARPU. We're thinking this is going to be $40+ ARPU, 6 to 7 year customer life. It's pretty good math as far as jumping in. And obviously, who better than AT&T to deliver automation and security in your home? Okay, I'm going to stop there. And I believe you're coming back up, Hamish. I hope that got you thinking a little bit. Glad to answer any questions you'd like, and I appreciate the time.